The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Beverly Hills, California, weighing in at 206 pounds, GQ!
John GQ, one half of New School. New School as of late have once again attempted to break out into singles competition. The last time we saw that here at CZW, it was when they broke out into singles competition against each other. This time, they have found different opponents.
GQ is set.
New School, two of the fastest rising stars in the history of CZW, Eric. You gotta give GQ and Chris Cash some credit here.
He looks in tremendous shape, doesn't he?
His opponent, from Westland, Michigan, weighing in at 233 pounds, Jon Dahmer!
Jon Dahmer! It's the ring like a house of fire. A man possessed. Have you ever seen anybody in your life, John, work themselves up into such a frenzy before a match? Get him! Get him! Get Logan!
I mean, Eric, how would you like to train students and one of your students like GQ actually thinks that he's better than you? That's Jon Dahmer's problem.
Well, you know what? When you wind up winning the CZW World Tag Team titles on 2 different occasions throughout your entire CZW career, then maybe you can come into the CZW arena and brag about being better than the head trainer of the CZW Wrestling Academy, Jon Dahmer. But until that happens, John, you cannot do that.
I mean, Eric, if you ask me, I think GQ is a lot better than Jon Dahmer.
And why is that?
Because he's from the New School, that's why.
GQ, of course, a graduate of the CZW Wrestling Academy, the same CZW Wrestling Academy that Jon Dahmer is the head trainer of. He wants to test the strength of the boss. He wants to test the strength of the head trainer at the CZW Wrestling Academy. He must be crazy.
I mean, if Jon Dahmer would just let him hook it up.
They're going to lock up to this test of strength here. Jon Dahmer is another guy who most recently has decided to break out and become a singles competitor once again, something we haven't seen out of Jon Dahmer in about a year and a half. He was a very successful tag team wrestler along with his former partner Eddie Valentine as part of VD, former World Tag Team Champions. Now that Eddie Valentine has departed after a loss to Ian Knox, Jon Dahmer finds himself alone and finds himself branching out into singles competition.
I mean, Eric, if you were sitting back in that locker room, would you want to be Jon Dahmer's partner? I know I wouldn't.
Of course I'd want to be Jon Dahmer's partner.
Bam!
There you go, side suplex.
And he nailed him with it.
Just like he used to do every Monday morning in the CZW Wrestling Academy, John.
Big clothesline there by Dahmer.
And
another one.
That's a lariat, John. The way that he took his head off, that's a lariat.
Smart move there by GQ to get out of that ring. Try to break up some of that momentum.
Even smarter move by Jon Dahmer to follow him outside of the ring and make sure that he doesn't break up the momentum.
Right into the post, Eric.
Shoulder first, John.
That's what I would have done.
And again, rams him into the guardrail. As of late, we have seen Jon Dahmer branch out into a few tag team matches with another graduate of the CZW Wrestling Academy, Corey Castle.
And Eric, I don't even think he wants to tag with Jon Dahmer.
You know what, John? Sometimes I think that Dahmer is a little bit too proud. Maybe he plays too much of a father figure with his students. We saw what happened when he came out here to help the Irish drinking team when they were getting ambushed by Lobo's army. We saw what happened last month when his students came out here and were practically sacrificed at the hands of Lobo's army. Sometimes I think he cares too much.
Bam! I felt that up here. I mean, Eric, I wouldn't want Jon Dahmer as my father figure.
Why is that? I'm sure he'd make a great father.
Big forearm there to the back of GQ by Jon Dahmer. Not again.
He may as well make him do 100 Hindu squats after that and bring him back to the academy.
I mean, Eric, I wouldn't want Dahmer to chop me.
Of course you would, John.
Oh, man.
But John, again, we got to talk about it. Remember, recently here in the CZW arena, we have seen him come to the aid of the Irish drinking team at the hands of Lobo's army. Last month, he wrestled Greg Matthews. Remember what happened in that controversial matchup? It seems that Jon Dahmer has been a target as of late from Lobo and his army.
Bam! But you know, you don't want to mess with Sheriff Lobo because he handled his business, Eric.
Lobo is a graduate of the CZW Wrestling Academy prior to the days when Jon Dahmer was the head trainer.
That was the brains of GQ ducking that clothesline.
I mean, there are a lot of young guys in this company, John, that would back down and would be intimidated at the hands of Sheriff Lobo. And I do not want to forget about the impact there from GQ hitting that concrete floor. We don't have mats here,
Eric,
John.
come on, you're supposed to treat your students like that?
We don't have mats here, John.
What a father figure he turned out to be.
He's going up top.
Oh, no, not this.
Elbow off the top. He's got to be out of his mind.
Oh, my God, he's like a flying bull, Eric.
He may have just broke his tailbone with that. The level of competition has been so high as of late here at CZW, John, that wrestlers nowadays here in Combat Zone Wrestling have to do things that normally they wouldn't have to do, go the extra mile to get noticed here amongst our CZW fans and the rest of the contingent here tonight at Viking Hall, now known as the CZW Arena.
And it's going to happen here, Eric. Cage of Death 4, the biggest CZW event of all time at the CZW Arena.
And you know that Jon Dahmer wants to be a part of the Cage of Death 4. He's been at all of them, John. He's been at the past 3. He wants to be on the card. Hey, maybe we can see Dahmer in there with the Messiah in an Iron Man title matchup.
Anything can happen, Eric. We know there's going to be Cage of Death. John Zandig, Will Lobo, the boss, Sheriff Lobo, accept the challenge.
John, I don't think it's going to happen. We've already seen Lobo Russian leg sweep, float over, face first into that chair. John, we have already seen Lobo try and finagle Justice Payne into a matchup with Jon Zandig at the Cage of Death. Lobo wants no part of Jon Zandig.
I mean, Eric, Lobo has everything to lose if he fights Jon Zandig in Cage of Death. I mean, he's already beaten that man, bitch slapped him, take his company, bled him to death. What does Jon Zandig want more beatings for? It just doesn't make sense.
What do you think a man, John House, what do you think a man that can barely pay his bills anymore, that can't even walk in his front door and look at his daughter in the face because he lost his company, he lost his business. Once his company turned into a worldwide conglomerate, he lost it in one match, made the ultimate gamble and lost. What do you think a man would go through at the Cage of Death 4 against Lobo?
Bam!
Machine Gun Northern Light suplex and drives him head first.
I mean, Eric, there's always welfare, family first card, Medicaid.
But John, when a man has been put in such a desperate position, just imagine the kind of intensity that he would bring into the ring with him against the man that has put him out of his house, against the man that has put him in the position that he can't look at his wife, he can't look at his family, he can't walk into the locker room anymore and look at the rest of the boys in the face. What will he do to that man?
I mean, come on, Eric, that's his problem. He lost it fair and square.
Big avalanche by Jon Dahmer. Dahmer dominating this matchup. Maybe that move, that high-risk move, was a little too risky for Dahmer. The rump bump.
Oh, no, not that.
The rump bump.
I mean, that's a pretty big rump.
Sure is. How many squats, John, do you think it'll take to get an ass like that?
Uh-oh. I didn't say it. Oh! That is, he should be disqualified.
He's not going to need those anyway after this matchup. Jon Dahmer holding that side. Again, he may have injured his tailbone, something fierce. But that move, GQ with the DDT.
Picture perfect.
GQ and his partner Chris Cash were lobbying for several months to get a tag team opportunity at our World Tag Team Champions, the Hate Club. They had that opportunity, they lost, but instead of regrouping, they decided to go their separate ways, and Chris Cash has found himself in the middle of a feud with Ruckus and Sanjay Dutt.
Well, you know what? If anybody can take Ruckus out of CZW, it's definitely Chris Cash.
I think Chris Cash may be over his head in that one, John.
Uh-oh.
The curb stop!
He hit him with it!
The curb stop!
I don't think Dahmer taught him that down at the academy.
I think he just taught Jon Dahmer a wrestling move. GQ has been beaten within a half an inch of his life in this one. The amount of punishment that he has taken, John, has been tremendous, but yet he continues to fight back. He has not given up, and that is to be a credit to Jon Dahmer. Jon Dahmer has taught him that fight, has taught him that never surrender attitude.
It's called resilience, Eric, and that's not something you're taught. It's called heart.
GQ now calling for the finish. GQ, a very intelligent wrestler. He's actually a math major at Rutgers University. Jon Dahmer now.
Oh no, not this, no!
Power bomb. Look at the power of Dahmer. And
No, two!
he just drops him like a bad habit. That's got to be it, John.
1, 2, no!
He kicked out. Johnny kicked out. Talk about the resilience once again. What hard out of GQ here tonight on Fake U TV.
Eric GQ's in trouble right now. Someone's got to help him.
Another power bomb.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh no, what's he doing? Ow! Oh my! Ow!
The move of 1,000 Maniacs, and 1,000 Maniacs here tonight at the CDW Arena are showing their appreciation.
He's trying to break his neck!
He sure is.
Here's your winner, Jon